Hello, thank you for joining us wherever you are. Today we're going to share a little bit about what is building futures, something that perhaps you are just coming to become aware of and something that we perhaps need to educate the world on. So it is a new YouTube channel and a series of interviews of some amazing people. And when I say amazing, I don't mean they necessarily are in all the top media publications throughout the world, but in actuality, they are, your everyday successes that are all around you. They may be your friends, your family, individuals that you don't hear necessarily about, but they are out there doing what it takes to succeed. So it's hosted by yours truly, Brandon Na, and it is sponsored by a great little startup here based out of Seattle, specifically in Bellevue, called Coffee Break. And so hope you go and find Coffee Break in your iOS store and download it and enjoy. Great guys who are running it by the name of James and Michael. So what is it? What is Building Futures? Well, we say it's a new YouTube experience where it's going to enlighten, enrich, and inspire with an E. And what does inspire with an E basically mean? Well, we're hoping that actually there'll be a little more action instead of just being motivated by some interesting interview that we share with you here today. And if you had to summarize it in a really quick way, if you do know about the podcast How I Built This by Guy Raz, an NPR podcast, we would say it's a little bit of that, and it was definitely inspired by Guy. As well as, if you know Tim Ferriss and the Tim Ferriss Show, that is, he has some really genuine questions that he asks great, very, very popular and famous individuals who have succeeded in their different areas of our world. And so think of part Tim Ferriss, part Guy Raz, but even more trying to literally dig in and dive into the subject matter of education and think about all the different things that are occurring throughout the world where it takes us or actually helps us in order to basically do all the different activities, jobs, or what have you out in the world. And so focusing in on that with all these incredible interviews and just the perspective that we basically take on this, we believe will help you in everyday life. So what are some topics that we're going to be talking about? Well, one thing that's very important to us is examining the question of success and perhaps what the heck are we doing in this beautiful world we call Mother Earth? So what are we driving towards? Are we trying to become the richest? Are we trying to become the most popular? Or are we literally just trying to be happy? And so those are things that we're going to discuss and perhaps even, elucidate some thoughts in your mind about what, could help you in your life through these incredible interviews. We're going to be talking to, like I said, everyday successes. And then what I mean is we're talking about individuals that might not necessarily be the top 10 richest in the world or perhaps movie stars or other individuals. We're talking to folks that, literally are succeeding in your local community and probably doing some fantastic things and things that you might not even know about. And so hopefully with those interviews, you'll be seriously enlightened and be able to go out there and do some things that maybe you didn't do before. Also, we're going to be talking about what makes us tick, what actually drives us. And it's not just about what drives us, but maybe what helps us succeed. So when you hear the answers from these incredible people, you might find that maybe it's an issue of relationships. Maybe it's a little luck. Maybe it's grit, as a lot of publications write about these days. But perhaps there's some other secrets that you will learn by listening to Building Futures. And a little preview for our show coming up. So we want to make sure that you know what's potentially going to be populating here in the YouTube channel. So first off, we'll be talking to our founders of Coffee Break, our sponsors, not just because they're our sponsors, but because they're two incredible guys. James and Michael have been friends since middle school and have run lots of different entrepreneurial projects together. And right now with their latest startup, Coffee Break, I think it's just really good to listen from these really talented and intelligent and fascinating guys, honestly. They're very young, but yet I see incredible success in their future. We have an incredible friend as well, based out of Hong Kong, who has won many startup contests. Zania Wong actually has literally lit up the world in terms of how to get funded and present as far as what your startup idea is and perhaps what it takes to succeed in that world. We also have another amazing lady who is based out of San Francisco and has offices in New York and currently is, I think, in China at this point, working together with some folks that I know in the education space. So the founder of Admitzy, Stephanie Xu, will be joining us here in the near future as well. And honestly, our lineup is just constantly growing, and so we're thinking of perhaps even throwing it out there. But how about Bill Gates' favorite author in the world, Steven Pinker? How about throwing him into the show? I'm pretty sure it would be great to listen to his perspective, and so we'll be reaching out hopefully to him and seeing what we can basically do with Steven. Also, Jeff Bezos, you know who he is. So what do you think about that? We'll throw him on the show. So if you are supportive of that, we'll do our best to reach out and see if he would be even willing to spend a little time with us. But what another person that I would argue is just a fantastic model for a lot of us, Oprah Winfrey. A close friend of mine recently called me the Oprah Winfrey of Korean American men. And when she said that to me, it was obviously a compliment to me because Oprah Winfrey is just such an incredible soul and has done so much for our world and has succeeded in so many different ways. And so, why not have her on the show? So, maybe even get some tidbits or tips from one of the best interviews in history. All right, so I just want to add one last thing. We're not going to take it from just an ethnocentric standpoint where we're just going to interview people from the United States. Or we're not going to necessarily just think about it from a capitalistic perspective. Hey, we might even talk to some people who are in the Communist Party for all you know. Or individuals who have perspectives from not just a Western or capitalistic standpoint, but maybe explore it from other vantages, including maybe even Switzerland, where they try to be neutral in a lot of ways. Maybe there's a reason why the Scandinavian countries are very, very happy. And so we'll hopefully get some perspective from all over the world. And so ultimately, putting that all together will give you Building Futures. And we hope that you enjoy and get to learn an incredible amount, be enlightened, basically find everything that you might, or at least a bit more, that you might enjoy in order to basically succeed in this world. Well, thank you for joining us and hope to see you here on Building Futures.